Hey everybody, this is a SOMIFA playoff broadcast in progress. The San Francisco 49ers are trailing the New York Giants 17-8 in the fourth quarter, so desperation time for San Francisco. There's another game going on too that we'll switch over to when this one's finished. But right now, San Francisco has the ball at the New York 27. They need two scores. They're down by 9 points. So um, if they don't make it here on this third down and 8, they're likely going to take the field goal and then kick it deep and play some good defense to try to get the ball back. Like I said, I wasn't watching this, but we can look at the ball possession quickly to the side here. As I dissect it here, it looks like it was 14-8 Giants on top of San Francisco. San Francisco got the ball first and threw an interception on their first play. The Giants got it, had 5 plays and threw an interception of their own. Here's a bomb to Shi Smith, and it's going to be incomplete. So here comes the field goal unit. So they traded interceptions on each of them on their first possession. Finally, after trading punts, the Niners got the ball, drove down, got a touchdown, went for 2, and took an 8-0 lead. Then in the second quarter, at the end of the first quarter, the Niners missed a field goal. Giants took the ball after that, got a touchdown, and then were able to stop the Niners on downs and got another touchdown. No, I'm sorry. They traded punts. Then on another San Francisco interception, the Giants got their second touchdown to take that 14-8 lead. And so the field goal is good. Here come the Giants trying to burn some clock. 5:24 to go after they pick up a first down. And so that's where we're at. Then in the fourth quarter, each team got a field goal. So it is now a 6-point lead again. And the Niners need to stop. The Giants like to control the ball, take it all the way down, and just hold onto the ball and finish the game up. Let's look at the box score real quick. Pretty even statistically. You had those traded interceptions to begin the game, then an interception by the Niners that Terrell Edmonds of the Giants returned, and then the 2 field goals in the fourth quarter. Samuel can't run here, says Ed. Yeah, Samuel is less than 50 carries. I think Joe is setting Ed up for an end run to Daniel Jones, even though he's 3 wide. So Joe acknowledges that. Maybe Ed's like trying to tell him that so he'll trick him into running Daniel Jones, and then he'll call run. So a little cat and mouse game. No end run, just a curl to T. Higgins. And it's another first down. Giants move the chains. Jones does have a really good end run card. He has 4 of those left. Daniel Jones and Justin Herbert. He's got, he's spoiled for choice here. He's got a plethora of choices there. Even Mitch Trubisky. He's got 3. I mean, you wouldn't start Mitch Trubisky, but that's not a bad backup to have. Screen pass left to Curtis Samuel. There's one guy there. He's a 4, and the white guy's a 5. So that is a first down. Ed was covering up one of his deficits, which is his outside linebackers. He has a 0 on one side and a 4 on the other, and he chose to double up on the 0 side, leaving the 4 by himself. So now they're almost in field goal range again. Another field goal here. It's back to a 2-score game. So Joe's picking on those weak spots. He's also got a 4 cornerback and 2 4 cornerbacks with a 5 extra DB. End run right. There's that end run. Linebacker in zone -3 or +2. He doesn't make the play. Jason Pierre-Paul is a 4 against the white die 6, and that's going to bring it a little bit closer. Let's take a look at the Giants field goal kicker. He is not one of the good long distance ones, 2 through 5 out to the 37. So he needs another 4 or 5 yards here to get him in that better range. Quick slant to Chiggy. Linebacker in zone. Nice job there by Ed. Having a 6 there. Fred Warner, he left him home. uses free safety to cover up for the 0 again. So it'll be 3rd and 8. Chiggy has 7 catches for 60 yards today, so he's been a target. Look at that box score again. Donta Foreman's run 15 times. Chiggy's got 7 catches. T. Higgins 4. Pretty even spread for the Niners on their targets. Cam Akers and Samaj AP run getting the bulk of their carries so far. So 3rd and 8, big play here. Again, field goal range, and it's like, if he makes the field goal, it's pretty much game over. He does go for the run to pick up a little few yards. Ed sniffs it out, calls run, puts a 6 free safety in there. It's a fumble, and the Giants recover after a 2-yard gain. They try to advance it here to get in field goal range. It makes sense. Let's see if they do. Might refumble it. No, at least on my side it says he did not advance. It looks like he did try to advance, though, because it went from the 34 back to the 35. So you're 2:42 to go in the game. You're in 2 through 5 field goal range with very slight chance of being pushed out of range or being pushed into the nicer range. It was a 6 out of 1,000 chance for a fumble, and the random roll was a 1. Let's say he's going to punt. In cases like this, I wish there was a super squib or a super out of bounds punt, because this is probably going to go in the end zone. It's a fake punt. Presley Harvin drops back. It's going to be a short gain, 17 yards, and the Giants have iced the game. Oh my stars and garters! What a time to pull out the fake punt. Because I was saying you're gonna just pick up 15 yards of field possessions because it's going to the end zone. So Joe thought the same thing and decided to go for the fake. And now they have a 1st and 10, 2:06 to go, and 3 runs that will burn 2 of the timeouts. And as long as he makes the field goal, it'll be a 2-score game with like 1:30 to go when the Niners get the ball back. Presley Harvin with the run on the fake punt. My, oh my. Inside run to Foreman. And that's going into the end zone, folks. He shifted the inside linebackers out to cover the flats. And I guess that gives like a tiny bit of hope to the Niners if they can quickly get a touchdown and recover an onside kick. They still have all 3 timeouts. They'll get the ball back with 1:52 to go. Giants trying to go for 2 here to make it a 14-point lead. Pitch out right to Jeff Wilson's going to lose 7, so it'll be a 12-point lead. And 1:52 to go. All 3 timeouts. Niners need to score, and they need to score quick. Bomb to Kumaro, 2-man end zone, incomplete. Let's see where Purdy's completion is on a long pass. His guard will be much better next year. He does have a long gain on 8 and +28 on 10, but he got that pick on 9. But Ed Biggers is worth a chance. Screen right to Cam Akers. Can pick up 7, 3rd and 3. Crossing pattern to Gabriel Davis. Picks up 14. Does not get out of bounds. Offense takes a timeout. So 1 minute to go, 1:30 to go. Almost the midfield. Crossing pattern to Shai Smith. Dump off. And incomplete. There's an 18-yard pickup on Corey Davis's card. He's had an underrated Strat career. He always seems to have those big cards. I think he's done now. Crossing pattern to Gabriel Davis. Covered by a 5. 3-man in zone. Intercepted. 3-man intercepted, and that'll do it. Brock Purdy's third pick of the day. Tough to win when you throw 3 interceptions. And that's the game. So let's switch on over to the other game. Let me get that ID. So we got Dallas at Minnesota. Started about 30 minutes ago. And Minnesota's up 17-0 here. Dallas has the ball. We are into the last 2 minutes and 42 seconds of the half. Let's see if we can reconstruct what happened here. So Dallas has had 3 and out. Then they forced a punt after 9 plays, and then another punt. So 4 punts. Meanwhile, Minnesota's gotten a touchdown on their first drive, punt, and then another touchdown, 2 plays, 77. So it must have been a huge play there, and then a field goal drive. Quick slant to Gerald Everett. I picked up 8. Nobody was in the zone. Let's look at the box score, see what that big touchdown was for. Stephon Diggs, 60-yard pass from Joe Burrow. So Joe Burrow's got 2 touchdown passes. Carlson's got a field goal. But here come the Cowboys. 2:06 to go. Pitch out right to Henry. He needs a block from the guard. He's not going to get it. 3-yard gain. bomb to Donovan Peoples-Jones, covered by 4. And defender extra long gain. He's going to beat the 4 cornerback. White die looks like it's a 6. And Peoples-Jones goes 40 yards for the touchdown. And that makes it 17-7, pending the extra point. Tyler Huntley is the quarterback for the Cowboys. I think he's got 2 quarterbacks that are similar, Huntley and someone else. Check that out, but he uses Huntley for the most part. Let's look at Dallas. Yeah, Huntley and Justin Fields. He's got Sam Howell, which might turn out to be an okay pick, although he's kind of stumbled down the stretch. Let's see what Minnesota can do. Dallas would love to get a stop and get the ball back to keep this going. Off tackle right to Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb running out of a 4 wide. That's kind of a tough combo to stop. Defensive end doesn't make the play. That's a 9-yard pickup. Of course, if he had taken that the other way, the 6th defensive end would have made the stop. Got Brian Burns on one side and Carl Lawson on the other. Jonathan Allen in the middle as a 5'8" nose tackle. The cornerbacks are Marlon Humphreys, the 6th, and Tariq Woolen. Now Reek Woolen. Off tackle left to Nick Chubb being keyed. Still picks up a yard, though, because he didn't have both his zones plugged. But it was a white die 3, so that would have been 28 yards. Guess wrong. First and 10 out to the 35. 1 minute to go. Pitch to Amari Cooper. There's a man there. It's going to pick up 4. Dallas is happy for him to try to inch down the field as it'll use up the time before he can get a touchdown. Still might get into field goal range. But Burrow can always uncork one deep, so got to be aware of that. He's being aggressive with the double teams. He's had 2 guys covered by 4s, Tyler Lockett and Jalen Waddle. Off tackle right to Chubb. Tries to hit a big run on Chubbs. Short gain, 10 yards, out to midfield. Minnesota has 2 timeouts left. They'll use one here, so 45 seconds and 1 timeout. A yard shy of midfield. Button hook to Chubb. It's going to pick up 4, so 22 seconds to go. Minnesota has peeked into Dallas territory. Curl to Amari Cooper. And it's going to be a sack. Brian Burns gets past 7-rated Cam Robinson. 40% chance of a sack with a adjusted 13 against the 7. And let's see what the Vikings decide to do. Got to use that timeout, I think. Leave yourself 15 seconds with a chance of, he does, the chance of getting into field goal range, maybe on a white die 6 or receiver reading on one of these receivers, getting a big number. Let's take a look at the Vikings kicker, see where their range goes. They are one of the big kickers, so 2 through 8 and 12 out to the 40. So really only needs 13 yards here. Crossing Banner to Lockett, covered by a 4. It's going to get 12 of the 13. That'll be a first down, 8 seconds to go. He could try to kick it here and help the adjustment helps him, or he could try one more play and get out of bounds to attempt the field goal with a little more distance. He's going to try the play. There was a 16% chance of a sack, but random was a 90. Lawson up against another 7 pass blocker and Trenton Brown. Screen pass right. Nobody's in the zone. 8 yards. Does he get out of bounds? No. That'll be the end of the half. So he got the yardage he needs. He just didn't get out of bounds. And it looks like Minnesota will get the ball first to start the second half. So 17-7 Vikings on top of the Cowboys. And there's the kick. And we'll see that offense again. Bomb to Jalen Waddle. Guess right, incomplete on a 2. Looks like he was single covered. Snapping off before I could really see. Off tackle right to Chubb. It's going to pick up 5. Guessed wrong. So this is a good 3rd and 5. Containment in effect. Sideline right to Lockett. 4 linebacker in the zone. And it's going to be a 6-yard pickup. Joe Burrow on the flat pass. There's a short gain on a flat pass to Lockett again. Another 10-yard pickup on a flat. Sorry, I'm looking at something real quick. Off tackle left to Chubb. And this time the defensive end makes a play. It would have been a 17-yard pickup the other way. Down to the Dallas 41, 2nd and 10. There's a 2-yard pickup. Third and 8. This might be 4-down territory in no man's land here. Crossing pattern to Waddle, correctly doubled. Look out for the dump off. Instead, it's a completion on Burrow's card, correctly double team 7 roll. He threaded the needle and got that right in there. Sideline right's going to lose a couple. Loss of 1. Inside run to Chubb. Man is in the zone. Holds it to a 2-yard gain because I was looking for the rating of the center, who's Creed Humphrey, who's a 6'7" normally, but reduced to a 5'7" due to the formation. And the white die was a 6, so the lower yardage gained puts out 3rd and long. Dallas would be happy to hold them to a field goal here. Take their chances. Crossing better to Waddle. Incorrectly not double covered. Covered by a 4-man in zone. Dump off. 4-yard pickup. So it'll be field goal time, I believe, on 4th and 5. Here comes Carlson. Kick is up. Kick is good. 20-7. Dallas is like, okay, if I go down, get a touchdown, I'm back to within 1 score. See if anybody wants to join me here. This is a 13-yard pickup. First and 10. Cortland Sutton picks that up. Another flat pass, this time to Gerald Everett for 4 yards. Both these teams using flat pass as the fulcrum of their offense. They'll pivot off that, go deep, run the ball either with Henry or Chubb, depending on which team it is. There's a deep shot looking for Donovan Peoples-Jones, who already got the big touchdown today for Dallas. This time it was on the quarterback's card, and there's no good things there except for must runs unless you roll on the edge of the card. Flat pass is really Huntley's forte. Third and 6. First down got the 4-yard flat pass. Second down incomplete on a bomb. Still on their own side of the field. But they've had a hard time stopping that Minnesota offense, and they might want to get some points here. Pitch out left to Henry. Offensive onside end, +4, +9. Jonnu Smith is a 0, but it sets up an intriguing 4th down near midfield. And they are going to go for it. If they had run the other way, it still would have been missed because Gerald Everett is equally as bad at run blocking as Jonnu Smith, at least in this set. 4th and 2. Blocking back halfback set against the 4-3. Well, they get Minnesota to call run. They do not call run. It's a flat pass square into Donovan Peoples-Jones for +5 and a first down. Correctly double covered by the free safeties, wouldn't have mattered. He gets the first down right, wrong, or doubled. So back to the 3 wide. Nico Collins checks in as the 3rd wide receiver. Henry still in the backfield. He has 20 carries left, unfatigued, so plenty of ammunition. Henry's car is not as consistent in this set. He does need hit those edges. Quick slant to, it's picked off on Tyler Huntley's card. Guess right. 2 through 4 on a 10 roll. 2 through 4 and 12. And that's where Minnesota will take over near midfield after the interception. Dallas is having everything go their way there on that drive until that pass. 5:24 to go in the third quarter. This is an important drive for Minnesota. They already have a 2-score lead. Screen left to Chubb, and there's 2 men there, but it's going to go on the quarterback's card for +5. They go 4 wide now. Answered by a 3-3-5. Pitch out, to Hitch to Amari Cooper. Nobody there. Cooper is not doubled, so it'll be 0 men in zone, short gain, and into field goal range go the Vikings. If you can hold them to a field goal, it's still a 2-score game. They'll just need 2 touchdowns and 2 2-point conversions. Square into Diggs. Looking to try to get their own interception. So far, no good on that for 2nd and 7 after the 3-yard pickup. All right, Tim's going to join us here in a little bit. That'll be nice. Button hook to Chubb. He's keying Chubb, thinking he was going to run it. And it'll be incomplete. Guess wrong on Chubb's card, but he's not that good a receiver. Pretty darn good. A lot of double-digit numbers there, guessed wrong. But he does have a couple of blanks. Third and 7. Not showing blitz, 3-3-5 against the 4 wide. Burrow's thrown 30 passes already, 24-30. Pretty nice day so far. 2 touchdowns, no picks. Inside run draw to Chubb. Zeb home for the white die 1. He gets it, but it's a short gain, and it'll be stopped because of containment. Setting up a 4th and 1 of the 22. Let's see if they eschew the field goal and decide to keep the drive alive. No, they're going to kick it. Move this from a 13-point to a 16-point lead. Here's the kick. It's up and good. And kicks a touchback. 23-7, 2:24 to go in the third quarter. Three-yard run there. Guessed wrong. Zeb would love to hit one of those big, chunky runs from Henry. It's 5, setting up a 3rd and 2. Minnesota seems content to let him run guessed wrong. And it's a short game. Going to a square out left to Sutton, the white die 6, helps him beat the 0-rated linebacker. 1st and 10 near midfield. Just past midfield. Up to Minnesota 48. No yards there on a linebacker as the center couldn't make the block. Ryan Kelly's 5. Didn't quite live up to the White Sox 6. That's going to lose 3 yards. Third and 13, waiting for the call. I don't think we're locked. He's dialing up a supercomputer, trying to figure out what he can do here to at least make this a makeable 4th down. Pitch out right to Henry. It's going to pick up 3. 4th and 10. Probably kicking it, punting it, I should say. Yep. And after the punt, the Vikings take over on their own 11. Square out right to Amari Cooper. He's going to lose a yard or 3. Yeah, loses 3. Marlon Humphreys is 6 against the White Sox 5. Hey, 3rd and 14 after that 1-yard pickup on a square out right to Cooper. And incomplete there, or sorry, got 2 yards. And off to punt. So 11:24 to go in the 4th quarter. Three wide for the Cowboys. Hitch to Cortland Sutton. It's going to pick up 2, 2nd and 8. Three-yard pickup. Offensive onside tackle is reduced from a 5 to a 6 to a 5. Could make the play. 3rd and 5. No gain. Get strong linebucker. The dreaded 5. 4 down territory. Here comes Zeb. Sideline right to Peoples Jones, correctly double covered, gets 4. He's trying to stretch the ball out, can't do it. The Vikings take over. He needed a 7 roll, got a 6. We got Tim with us finally. Let's go. How you doing, Tim?
Hey, Dennis. Good. How you doing?
Good. This one is not quite as exciting as I broadcasted the end of the game between the Niners and the Giants. And this one, the Vikings have just been in control. Dallas had a chance to come down trailing 20-7. They got it into Minnesota territory, close to the red zone, and threw a pick.
Oh.
And that, and now they just turned it over on downs after another field goal by Minnesota. So Minnesota's got that 4-wide offense with Nick Chubb. He's so strong with that. He's one of the best coaches at running that West Coast style, run and shoot style offense.
Yeah, there's not a lot of people run it, but he's actually proven he can make it work. He's won a title and won quite a few playoff games. I joined when it was, I believe, 17-0, and saw Zeb hit a bomb to get it to 17-7 before the half. So.
Yep. So it's pretty much been back and forth with Dallas playing bend don't break defense, but they've been getting field goals, and Dallas hasn't been able to score themselves. There's a white die 6, turning that into a 20-yard flat pass. And that's where it's really hard to stop. You know, it's bad enough trying to stop this flat pass centric offense, but if you have all 4s and 0s there as your linebackers, it's really tough.
Yeah, and it's not the yards now. It's all that clock that's going off. Well, there's an incomplete, but every time you get a new set of downs, it's like another minute off the clock or more. So,
and I've played Dale, who's the coach of Minnesota, and you know, with me, a lot of times he'll hit me with those Chubb runs, and they'll hit big numbers even out of the 3 or 4 wide offense. There's a short game there. He got the white die 1, but it didn't matter.
Yep.
Chubb finds a way. Chubb's run 18 times for 119 yards, and like you said, tick-tock, it's only 5 minutes left in the regulation. It's going to take a miracle here for the Cowboys to hang on or to come back. So where did you wind up this SOMIFA season, Tim? Where are you at?
We are 11-6, and we're in a 4-way tiebreaker along with the Giants and Minnesota and Dallas. So these teams, me and Denver are going to play in a few moments. So all the 11-6 teams are in action.
Oh wow!
Today,
I was going to say, I thought, is this the first round, and you guys had a bye, but no, you guys are all playing today, huh?
Yeah, and it's funny. Wasn't sure how the tiebreakers would go, but it just depended on what teams got in it. Because I was like, there's a couple teams I know wouldn't be good, but I think I was 2-1 in the head-to-head. I lost to the Giants, but I beat these 2 teams, so that got me the second out of the 4 teams in the tiebreaker process, which was a big deal, as you know, because you get the home field. So,
absolutely, and you get the bump up in pass defense. So that good pass defense comes in handy, especially in the playoffs.
Yep.
I mean, there's games where it doesn't really make a difference, but there's games where it makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
You have one of those 2-5 flat pass interceptions or a 4-minute zone, incompletion where it would have been a receiver reading otherwise. It could have been, kept the drive alive.
Yeah, and it's easier to remember stuff like that if it happens like on the last play of the game. But like I was in a big game a couple of weeks ago, and it came up when, I don't remember, it was roughly like third quarter or something, but it was a third down in like 10 or 12, and it kept the drive going, and I think I scored on it. But those are the ones, like I said, they occur kind of in the process, and you don't think, well, I don't know how important that was, but It was a one possession game at the end, and like I say, I think I scored on it. So it really does help to have the extra interceptions, but also the plus 12 on the short on the missed interception 3 men.
Yeah. It's going to be so who are you playing? You're playing Denver?
Yeah, playing Tony in Denver today, and like I say, I just played them recently, and it was a great game. Let's see, I won. No, I guess it might have been a little farther back than I was thinking.
Let me open that up here real quick. Although I didn't update the final one, I don't think. But
actually, I may not have played Denver. I thought I did, but I was 2-1 in the tiebreakers with the other team. So I was thinking, yeah, I probably Denver was 10-7. That's what it is. Okay,
got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to refresh my league manager. But
it was.
So I mean, I don't want to do a spoiler alert on the other one. So close your eyes if you want, or close your ears if you don't want to hear. But Ed went out today to the Giants, and now it looks like Zeb's going out today. So that's two of the heavyweights out of the coaching out of the playoffs in SOMIFA.
So the Giants won the earlier game?
Yeah, it was the last the Niners had a chance to come back and come down and tie it, but Giants held them off.
Yeah, Joe's got a really good team with the Giants. They were 11-6 also, but I lost to them, and I definitely think they were a better team than I had. So they definitely have a shot. But
yeah, it was 17-11. The Niners were driving, and then Brock Purdy threw his third interception of the game, and the Giants turned that around to make it look a little bit less close than it was. So 23-11 was the final score there.
Yeah, see, I was kind of split on Purdy. I liked him, and I think there were some similarities to like a guy like Dak Prescott, and it's sort of like, the place, if you want to prove yourself, the place to do it's in the NFL, and especially your rookie year. So he had put, more stats up than a great college career would have meant, because he did it in the NFL, and he didn't get the whole camp as a number one quarterback kind of thing. So I did like him, but I wasn't sure, and I wasn't looking at quarterbacks last year, but I wasn't sure if I would have taken him or gone with the Steelers quarterback. And I kind of felt like neither one were somebody I would probably trade up to get the number one pick for. So credit Ed for seeing that. And he's obviously going to be one of the top 3 to 5 quarterbacks next year in the cards.
Yeah, he really proved himself this year, and they're still alive. He had a little bit of a shaky game on Sunday, but he came through when it counted.
Yeah, and what jumps off the chart to me is his yards per attempt were just crazy. I mean, yeah, Samuel breaks some tackles, but the yards per attempt were, I don't know, I'm guessing that had to be in the top 15 or 20 all time. I'm going to take a quick look on Pro Football Reference, because you rarely see a guy over 9, and he was not even close. He was like 9.4 or something. So,
yeah, they said that if you take off his yak yards, he still was like in the top 2 or 3 in air yards. Look at that, Henry, 22 runs for 29 yards. That is a rough day for the beast, Derrick Henry.
Yeah. Brock Purdy, 9.6. It's the 8th highest in history of football for a single season. So,
wow.
Yeah. Ahead of him, you got guys that you'd have to read history. The first 2, 3, 4, 5 are 1956 and earlier. Otto Graham's on there a couple of times, one of my favorites. And then finally, Kurt Warner, 9.9 in 2000. Again, Otto Graham. Then 98, Chris Chandler. That was a fun year. He's at 9.6 as well. So, but
wow,
yeah,
we're coming up on that in Tecmo. It'd be interesting to see how he does there.
It's funny. That was when I started getting back into the computer game. I'd played the board game all this time, and that was one of my favorite NFL seasons of all time, and probably my favorite playoff game to watch. I thought Atlanta would win that game due to the fact I thought Minnesota at that time was running a lot of no tight end type offense.
Yeah.
And, a lot of times it just struck me Atlanta's caused a lot of turnovers that year. They got a couple of defensive ends that are really, really good. And I was like, plus Jamal Anderson, might just control the game on the ground because Minnesota had trouble against that. And, I thought that was going to be a great game, and I thought it'd be slightly advantage to Atlanta, and they won in overtime 30-27. It's one of the best played games I've ever seen. I know everybody makes a big deal about Anderson missing the field goal toward the end. If you watch, I've watched that game a few times. If you watch it, he almost for sure would have gotten the kick blocked had he just kicked it straight on. There was a guy coming in from his right side that looked like he was going to block it, and it looked like Anderson pulled it a little bit, thinking, I'll have to just try to get it in the left upright, but I don't want to get it blocked, and he just missed it. But
wow.
Besides the missed field goal, that was just a great game. I mean, you watch the first few minutes, you're just watching all these spectacular catches over and over. I mean, I think the first or second play of the game, I believe it was Tony Martin, had an amazing catch. Moss had just like a perfect catch at the back of the end zone. He ended up pulling like his abdominal muscle late in the first half, reaching for a ball, I believe. So he's kind of a decoy in the second half. But anyway, both of the big runners, Robert Smith and Anderson, are there. And Robert Smith didn't start great, but he was so good in the clutch when they were setting up that field goal that could have clinched it. Then Chris Chandler comes in and leads one of the most exciting drives I've ever watched live. I mean, just really big time performance. And you almost wondered if he was going to stay in the game. He had a couple of awkward falls, and one of them he hurt his knee, had to waste a timeout, like with a minute left. But that was, like I say, that was the greatest playoff game I've ever seen. Just a real fun game. It's on the internet. You can look it up, but a real fun game to watch. Great performances by a 15-1 and a 14-2 team. So.
Yeah, that's the other thing too, is that people forget that Atlanta it's not like this 9-7 team that barely made the playoffs. They deserved a shot at that Super Bowl, and we're right there with Minnesota in terms of quality. I think from what I remember that game, when they got into field goal range, that would have made it a 2-score game. They kind of let up a little bit, and that may have, second guessing. Maybe they would have been a little more aggressive there instead of, see a lot of teams like this where they just, okay, we're in range. We're gonna let the field goal kicker either tie us up or give us that 2-score lead, and it doesn't always work out that way.
They definitely did that after Atlanta tied the game at 27. Minnesota got the ball, and they didn't try anything. But if you flip back to the first half, there was a strip sack with like a minute left, and Minnesota was up, I want to say 20-7, and decided to go ahead and try to add more points. And there was plenty of time, but you could see it happening. The defensive ends were like I want to say it was a near pick or something on first down, or maybe it was a near strip sack. But then either Smith or trying to think of the name of the other guy, Archambault, one of the two defensive ends got the strip sack. Atlanta took over at like the 14 or something like that. And you're just sort of like, if you're Atlanta, you're like, what? That's a really risky play when you're up 20-7 to lose the ball like that. But you got, like we're talking about, you got to keep playing. And Chris Chandler came out and threw a strike on the very next play, touchdown, 2014, totally different feel going into the second half.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's really cool. I'm gonna have to go and find that and take a look at it again. So
yeah, that's a real fun game. I've probably watched that one 4 or 5 different times. Of course, it happened 25 years ago, but every 4 or 5 years, that is one of those games, kind of a go-to game, because I think it was just such a well-played game, and like I say, two teams that were really dominant that year. Minnesota had the bigger point differential, but like I say, Atlanta kind of looked like a better playoff team in some ways to me, because Robert Smith's kind of one of those, gets nine carries for 3 yards, then he breaks a 60-yarder, whereas Jamal Anderson's just like 2, 4, 6, 8, he's just constantly getting first downs. And I kind of felt like he would dominate the game. He didn't have a great game at all.
But they got it done. So
yeah, Dan Reeves had the heart attack and missed some time, and then he comes back, and they had a couple of first half turnovers. I remember thinking, "Oh, don't get so upset, Dan. Chill, man. Just take it easy here. I don't want to see you have an issue here during the
Right.
championship just because you guys, had a couple of receiver fumbles.
Yep. Yep. So it looks like this one's going to wrap up. Final score: Minnesota 30, Dallas 7. As Joe Burrow takes a knee, Zeb decided not to kick a field goal there to make it look a little bit better. He went for it on 4th down, didn't make it, so that will do it. Dominant win. There you see the New York Giants and San Francisco 49ers score. And it'll be interesting to bring it back around from Chris Chandler to Brock Purdy. It'll be interesting to see how Strat cards them because it's a little bit different game. We do see quarterbacks that have a high yards per attempt get those plus 13s, plus 14s on a short pass. So you got to expect Purdy will have something like that, maybe a plus 15 on there on a short pass, guessed right.
Yep, and you figure he'll have a pretty high long gain to on his long pass. Some guys will get like a big plus 27 on 4 and then a long gain on 2. He'll definitely probably have 4 to 6 long gain chances guessed right, and you'd figure he'd get another 3 or 4 at least guessed wrong. And you're right. I think you'll probably look for some of those with that high an average, maybe even some plus 15s or plus 16s on the short pass card in the middle.
Yeah, he had the long gain on 8 this year and plus 28 on 10. So you maybe see something like that with the interception move from the 9 down to the 11.
Yep. And you'll also,
yeah,
and his completions will be plus 32 that are not long games instead of plus 27 or 8.
Got it.
They'll try to squeeze as much yards, but he'll also get, of course, get a lot of yards off of Ayuk and Sanders and Kittles, or they're going to be loaded with yards probably too.
For sure. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and shut this down. What time is your kickoff? 2 o'clock?
5 o'clock Central, so about an hour and
3 o'clock. Perfect. All right, well, maybe I'll catch a little bit of that one too. I'll talk to you soon.
Take care, Dennis.